Hi, I'm Lisa and this is Jeremy and we created WODwell.
It's been a while since we put a video out, so we wanted to reconnect, but we were thinking so much has changed, and the way that we used to do videos, which was in a gym, filming athletes or ourselves doing workouts, that's not the way that we are involved with fitness anymore. We don't go to a gym anymore. A lot has changed. And this is our new workout area. It's our backyard. We don't even have a garage. So we thought maybe we could change the way we put our content out today and maybe share a little bit about our origins, where we came from, where we are, and eventually get to some of the exciting stuff that we want to share with you in the future.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit today about where we came from. What was the origin of our exposure to CrossFit, and ultimately what led to us creating WODwell. I started CrossFitting in 2011 at a gym called United Barbell in San Francisco, and I was in terrible shape. I was in the worst shape of my adult life. Found a gym near my office and decided to start going at lunch, and quickly found out how out of shape I was. Like, I remember the coach, Olivia, had me do some burpees, like 10 of them. And I remember I was just crushed. And it was so obvious that I was struggling. I was just flopping on the floor. But I was hooked. I was like immediately hooked and started going as much as I could, 1 day a week, 2 days a week, eventually 3 and 4 or 5 days a week. And then a year later,
we met. And Jeremy was talking about CrossFit nonstop and all the lingo that I couldn't understand. It was driving me nuts. And so I told him that, fine, I will go to one CrossFit class if you stop talking about your snatch or jerk or whatever the movement was of the day. And I went January 2013, New Year's Day, and did Mary. Could hardly walk out of the gym, but I was also hooked.
What is Mary?
Mary is AMRAP 20 minutes, handstand push-ups, pistols, and pull-ups. And I obviously couldn't do any of those walking in, so everything was miserably scaled, and I think I ended up doing air squats or whatever it was. But it was the intended stimulus was there, and it was just unlike anything else I had ever done. And I have been an athlete my whole life, so it was pretty cool to kind of get worked, but wanting more.
So she was hooked, but also scared.
Oh, terrified.
Like
absolutely terrified.
Every class, just ball of nerves. Walking to class, and we at that time we were just going to United Barbell as regularly as we could. Like, it became our community, and we would go as much as we could. I think it was like 5 or 6 days a week, and then we would do double days. So we'd do a class, and then we'd do a strength. Eventually we would do, they incorporated like a level 2 class that you had to test into. And we got into like low-level local competitions, having fun, and being competitive at the gym level. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. And when you say I forgot like how nervous I would get, I would text the coaches, which drove them nuts, being like, "What's the workout?" And I was just so anxious. Can I do this movement? But it kept me going back, and I felt built up and rewarded. The workouts, they kind of beat you down, and then you build yourself up, and then you move forward and you are ready to go back, even though you're sore, very sore.
At that time when we were, just learning all the movements, learning all the lingo, and we were both super interested in this community, and also the way that, when we traveled, we would visit gyms and they would just know exactly the same thing that we were doing at our home gym. It was like a shared language, and that idea caused us to think, hey, maybe we could share it with other people. And that was what went on our YouTube channel initially. Like, WODwell is just a YouTube channel to start, and that was in 2014. And oh man, the first video I did, if you want to go back into the archives, just so painful to watch. Like, we didn't know how to talk in front of a camera and didn't know how to like frame anything, and it was like the open 2014, I think, were our first videos after Helen that you did. And we just learned as we went, and there was never any really like big vision for what WODwell would be. And it turned out some people liked what we were doing. And so we, built a following, and, we started visiting gyms around the San Francisco Bay Area where we're located. And then eventually internationally, we visited like 5 countries, gyms in 5 countries.
When we were trying to figure out what workouts to do or at the gym, and they would speak this language that we didn't understand, and we kind of couldn't look it up. So if they were talking about Cindy at the time, you couldn't necessarily like search Cindy super easily and then see what it is, AMRAP 5, 10, 15. And so that's kind of like the base of CrossFit. We're like, well, we want to make this a little bit more accessible to people, just like us who, we know this language ish. And one thing that was kind of super cool is when we went to Turkey. It happened to be our honeymoon, and we can't speak any Turkish, sorry, thank you. And they could hardly speak English, but there was this like beautiful commonality that we had for the workout that we filmed. We filmed 2 of them there. That was just so great. But it just kind of like reinforced the common language.
So we basically found out that other people had the same questions we did, like, how do you do this workout? What's a good strategy? What's a good time? And so we started answering those questions one workout at a time on YouTube. And eventually we were just like, there's no way there's so many workouts and we're never gonna be able to make enough videos. So we created a website to basically list not just the videos we were making, but basically everybody else's videos and all the workouts, WODs, that we could find and that were, considered benchmarks. And so anyway, that sort of is the origin of WODwell. Things have changed a lot, not just the site, but also our lives. So we don't go to United Barbell anymore. We went and we trained in our gym for years, and now we're in a backyard in a new house. And, we're not going to be making gym videos, but we do have some fun stuff to share, and we're going to put out some more videos like this. And in the next one, we'll talk a little bit about the transition from working out at a gym to working out in a garage, which happened as we had kids and as we moved a little further away from downtown where our gym was. And that was a shift. And then COVID happened later, which caused a lot of people to work out in their garage. So there was a real change in the community. Fortunately, a lot of gyms are reopening and the communities are getting back together, and we love the gym community. We'd love to be a part of it now, but it's just not something that we can make time for a lot. So that's how our lives have changed, and we'll talk more about that and how we ended up with a backyard gym and what we're doing with WODwell. So more to come.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, talk to you guys later.